Hi, Stampin' friends. This is Amanda. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Michigan. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by, spending some time with me today. You're so wonderful. All right, friends. Went through my stash and I saw this really great card that my upline sent me, Lorri Heiling. She's a great YouTuber. She has some fabulous ideas, and I just love this card that she sent me, a while ago. It was actually when we had the flowering cactus, and then the die set was called Stitch So Sweetly. But for I needed a Halloween card, and I thought this might work. Let's see how to do this. I didn't call and ask her. I should have just asked her, because I wasn't sure how to actually accomplish this. Now, if you know the name for this card, I'd greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate writing down below and telling me what the name of it is. I did end up contacting her. I'm like, okay, so what's the name? And she's like, I don't know. So if there is a name for this card, please let me know. The most important thing you need to know is that you need to cut your DSP in the correct orientation. I'm doing a landscape card, so that means I need to cut everything that it's going to look up and down landscape. So these first cuts, I need two different pieces of DSP, are 4x6. I am doing a 5x7 card. If I had larger DSP, I would make these cuts larger. But because there's only 6 inches, what are you going to do? 6-inch DSP means 6 inches all you're going to cut. So then I knew I needed to tilt them to the side and cut from corner to corner, opposite corners. I got that down. I'm like, yes, I got that. And I also, want to remind you that when you're doing this, you need to start from the middle of your cardstock, the blade in the middle of your cardstock of your trimmer, and then push up and down, because you don't want your little corners ruined in any way. So start cutting in the middle-ish of your DSP. So then I'm like, well, I don't know any other way but to put it back together and do it on the other side. So that's what I did. I took a little bit of purple tape here and just glued them back together momentarily, taped them back together, I guess, and then repeated it for the opposite side. If there's a better way to do this, this wasn't very difficult, but if there's a better way, if there's a traditional way, please let me know. If you're shaking your head going, oh, you're so silly. Okay, yeah, I know, but really, I had no idea how to make this card, but I thought it was unique and different, and I like the play of different cardstocks. I almost want to call it like a pinwheel, because, but maybe the truth is, I can't even come up with the name. I'm terrible at that. So, again, we're going to use 2 different DSPs, 2 different papers of the DSP. Going to cut those at 4x6. And then cut angles. Next, we're going to need something to mat all these things on. So we're going to cut a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And yes, this is mostly Highland Heather and black, so I chose pumpkin pie. Yep. It cut by itself, apparently. I didn't even think about it. It was just cutting along. Now, the next, I know I want to mat that with a piece of basic black at 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. Really easy peasy measurements. And then again, because I'm going to make 2 cards here, because, it's a twofer. You cut all this stuff and you get two things to assemble, 2 main pieces. Never mind. Don't mind me. I'm talking crazy. So I'm going to take all these apart and spread it around and think, oh, this works. This is going to work. Hello. Now, maybe I should have used my blending brush and made these boos orange. But in the end, I decided, well, I'm going to go with Highland Heather because, looks better. Looks better. I know. All right. But, the pumpkin pie doesn't look terribly terrible. All right. Again, I'm going to stick these down. Glue seemed to be the best to me for some wiggle room, but I'm going to tell you that this barely art glue, because I have this little teeny head on it, this glue head, it does not give you a lot of time for wiggle room. So one and done. I was there for like a multi-second, and then that was it. So I didn't have much time to play with the different, to move it around. Maybe Tombow Motto would dry a little bit faster, but really I probably just needed more glue. All right, so we're going to put that on a card base with, you know, a 5x7 card base. And I finally figured out how this little seal works. You have to actually bend your wrist up, you know, like you're like hobbling along. Yeah, don't laugh at me. So it works. I don't know how I'm going to get carpal tunnel doing it, but it works. If not, I'm going to go to the Stampin' Seal Plus. I really like the Stampin' Seal, but I don't like, you know, messing around the head part of it that always never works. Always never works. Listen to me. All right, so now I got to jazz up the middle. Again, if you have the if you have the Stitched So Sweetly dies, they turned out great in her example, but they are retired and I didn't have them. So I decided to use the Tasteful labels, and those are nifty, but there's no, you know, I couldn't layer them. It was not a dimensional type of label. It was just a, you know, there's no layers. So I'm missing that a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm going to take out from the Cutest Halloween, the little ghost, because there are ghosts on my card. I know. I'm wacky like that way. Think outside of the box for me. No, I'm just joking. So just going to stamp Happy Halloween from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set and pop those up with some regular dimensionals. It's cute. It's not as cute with, I mean, if it had the Stitch So Sweetly, they'd be amazing. But I thought, okay, so for the pumpkin, maybe I'll do a pumpkin. For the pumpkin pie, maybe I'll do a pumpkin. Well, no. We'll just go to the inside of the card now. And we're going to do a regular basic panel. 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Easy peasy, standard panel for me. And then we're going to jazz it up a little bit, which is shocking. I know I haven't jazzed up the inside of a card in a while. And then from this great stamp set, Thinking, Thanks, and Peace, I found this little thing that said boo. I mean, it's the cutest little thing in the entire world. And I just inked that up in some, what is this called? It's called Hybrid Ink. That's right, Hybrid Ink. So next, I'm going to take the Trick or Treat from the Cutest Halloween stamp set and get a stamp just with some basic black again. Like I said, this is just amalgam ink, but it's more like a hybrid ink. So it's really dark. It's one of my go-to black inks. And then I just wanted to make sure that everything was in its place. You know what I mean? And you have to see me hesitate. I'm like, okay, I'll stamp this down with the die. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I just can't do it. Okay. No, yeah, I better just do it. So I was very hesitant of stamping with the die there because it's a little barrier, you know what I mean? But I really needed to know where everything went. So that was a little bit crazy. And then again, from the Cutest Halloween, this cute little spider. He's adorable. And I think the front of this card looks great. I did end up using some foam, what are these called? Foam sheets, because those are the first things I grabbed. So it works the same. They are the same height. Just the foam strips are a little bit different in height. Next, I'm actually going to jazz up the middle of this card on its card base. I normally put panels in because it's just, safer. But I just decided to, be crazy and not use a panel this time. And it looks pretty good with this black. So it says have a fabulous Halloween from the Cutest Halloween stamp set. All right, there's one more that I have to show you that I did in the beginning. And this was that. I actually had everything to go and all of my video taped and everything. And then I realized that my DSP was the wrong orientation. And so I'm like, oh, goodness. Have to remake the card, have to remake the video. But I wanted to show you that I just changed the orientation. And then later that day, I just removed all the adhesive from the background with a heat gun with our heat tool and then put it on a new base, and it worked perfectly. All right, friends, let me know what you think. I'd love it if you subscribed, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy Halloween.